I first got my feet wet in the podcast world in 2014. In those days, everything was new to me, and it took a while for me to get my act together. Thankfully, I got my ducks in a row, and nowadays, I actually need to get my fix of doing this. Let's dive in.
Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right, thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. It's Michael here from Happy English, and I help people speak English better. And this is Happy English Podcast, episode 747, Things You Can Get. Get is an interesting word in English because there are tons of idioms that use this versatile verb. For today's English lesson, we're going to look at things you can get. 7 get idioms. Let's start off with this conversation between Anna and Mike, 2 friends catching up over lunch.
Hey, Mike, long time no see. How's everything going with your new job?
Hey, Anna. It's been a bit crazy. I'm trying to get my act together with all the new responsibilities.
Oh, I can imagine. It's always tough to get your ducks in a row when you start something new. How's that going for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. The boss has been helping me get my feet wet by giving me a couple of small projects first. It's been helpful, but I still feel like I have a lot to learn.
That sounds like a good approach. Have you been able to get your hands on all the resources you need?
Mostly, yes. But I still need to get my fix of coffee in the morning to understand it all.
Oh, that goes without saying. I get my kicks from caffeine, too. Has the boss ever talked about getting promoted in that company?
Only during the interview, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much and just focusing on doing my best.
Nice. It sounds like you're on the right track.
And now, let's check out these idioms. When you get your act together, you become organized. At his new job, Mike is trying to get his act together with all his new responsibilities. I told David he needs to get his act together if he wants to finish the project on time. Jane told her lazy husband to get his act together, otherwise she's going to kick him out. Another way to talk about getting organized is to get your ducks in a row. Just like when you see a family of ducks walking across the street in an organized line. In the conversation, Anna mentioned that it's always tough to get your ducks in a row when you start something new. Lisa spent the whole weekend getting her ducks in a row before her presentation on Monday. When you take 5 classes in one semester in college, it's essential to get your ducks in a row. Speaking of new, when you first go swimming, you probably put your feet in the water first, just to see how the water feels. Well, as an idiom, when you get your feet wet, you try something new for the first time. Mike said that the boss was helping him get his feet wet. What a nice boss, right? John decided to get his feet wet by joining a cooking class for the first time. I got my feet wet teaching English in Sendai, Japan in 1994. When you get your hands on something, you obtain or acquire it. Anna asked Mike if he was able to get his hands on all the resources he needs. Tom was excited to finally get his hands on the latest iPhone. Jessica managed to get her hands on some tickets for the Taylor Swift concert. Next up, when you get your fix of something, you satisfy a craving or desire for that thing. Mike said he still needs to get his fix of coffee in the morning. To keep happy, Maria needs to get her fix of chocolate every afternoon. I go to Chinatown once a month to get my fix of dim sum. And speaking of things you like and desire, when you get your kicks, you enjoy something or find pleasure in that activity. Anna told Mike that she gets her kicks from drinking coffee. Paul gets his kicks from riding his motorcycle on the weekends. Katie gets her kicks from watching old movies and reminiscing about the past. The last one for today is to get your hopes up, which means to become excited about something that has the risk of disappointment. I wouldn't get your hopes up about the promotion until it's officially announced. Lily got her hopes up when she heard about the job opportunity, but unfortunately, it didn't work out. Try not to get your hopes up too much about the concert tickets. They tend to sell out quickly. Keep in mind, the best way to remember this and any other word or phrase in English is to take that word or phrase, write it in a sentence that's true for you or true in your world, and then memorize your sentences. Hey, did you know that you can get the chance to practice this kind of English with me directly? Yeah, you can get more practice using your English when you join my Podcast Learners Study Group. There, you can make new friends. Join us for live group lessons every week where we practice these podcast lessons together. Plus, you get access to the PDF transcript and audio download for every Happy English podcast in the past and in the future. And on top of that, each episode has exercises where you can practice this English point with speaking and writing checked by me. To learn more, just visit myhappyenglish.com and choose podcast lesson 747. Remember, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible, and I'm here to help you on your journey.
This podcast was brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English, get happy, Happy English.